3, hit it!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. If you enjoy these podcasts and you'd like to come on one of our live programs, we have live programs coming up in the first part of this year in Los Angeles, in Austin, Texas, in Prague, in the Czech Republic, and in London, in the United Kingdom. And you can find out more about all those programs and how you can join at michaelneill.org. Towards the end of last year, I did, as part of one of our Genius Catalyst live training programs, where we train not just coaches, but people who are interested in having an impact in whatever their job is, as teachers, as perhaps not even as a job, as parents, as business leaders, and as helping professionals. One of the things that I do as part of that program is I do a client catalyst workshop, where basically I work with a client from meeting them through 2.5 days worth of sessions. And so people get a chance to sit in on and ask me questions about the work that I do. And what was particularly lovely about the most recent session that we did is it happened to be very clean that what I consider to be the two jobs of a transformative professional played out very clean. Because job one is to wake somebody up to who they already are. It's to give somebody an experience, to facilitate an experience of their own formless presence, of who they would be regardless of when they had been born, where they were born, what religion or body or gender or any other detail of their life had been. What we could call who they are at the core, their true self, their soul. Job two is to deepen that experience, i.e. to allow them to spend more time in touch with that, more time awake to that, the purity of it, so it's less distorted by all their ideas of who they should be and who they ought to be and who they don't want to be, and the duration, so they can literally have a deeper, purer, longer experience of being themselves, and also to live from there, to be able to thrive in the world in any area of life, to show up to any area of life as themselves. Well, when it comes to you as an individual, what I've come to see is your only job is to be yourself. Now, what do I mean by be yourself? Well, I mean to be who you always already are. Not to be who you think you should be, not to be who you're afraid you are or the opposite of who you're afraid you might be, but literally to be who you are. How do you know who you are? Well, the easiest way I know is to stop trying to be anybody else, to stop trying to be better, to stop trying to be smarter, to stop trying to be nicer or kinder, to stop trying to be tougher or more hardcore or cooler. Literally, when you abandon any attempt to be somebody, what's left is who you are. And it turns out that who you are is kind of a big deal. Who you are is amazing. Who you are is an intersection of divinity and humanity. It's a collision point between the formless, spiritual nature of life and the formed material nature of life. You are formless presence in form. You're you. And there are no characteristics that can pin you down, and there's no need to try to be somebody, to make a statement of, this is who I am. You are who you are. And who you are turns out, as I've said, to be more than enough for anything you would face in life. Who you are has creativity. Who you are has access to real-time responsive intelligence. Who you are has presence and resonance. Who you are can notice and see. Who you are has both wisdom, the wisdom of the ages, and common sense, the ability to cleanly dissect what makes sense from what doesn't make sense. To know, this knowing that we all have, that we can't necessarily explain how we know, but we know. So all of these things could be considered, okay, so I've got to be creative, and I've got to be present, and I've got to be resilient, and I've got to be this, and I've got to be that. No, if all you do, if you accept your only job is to be you, everything else comes with that. When I was first learning about this, I heard a story from a Zen tradition about a Zen master. And he lived in a meditation cell in a monastery. And he had an attendant. And the attendant's job in the morning was to come to him and knock on his door and go, "Master, are you in there?" And he would say, "Yes." "Master, are you awake?" "Yes." "Do not let the others deceive you." "I will not." Now, when I first heard that story, I thought, okay, that's weird. But as I sat with that, and as I sat with what it was to do my job, to wake up each day and be myself, to be myself everywhere I went with anyone I was with, no matter how I happened to be feeling, I came to hear that story metaphorically. I came to hear that story as an invitation to me within me, to knock on the door of my own consciousness and check, are you in there? Yes, I am here. Are you awake? Yes, I am awake. Do not let the others deceive you. Do not let all the ideas and thoughts and imaginings of who you should be, who would be better to be than you, who it would be terrible if people thought you were, to fall away and to do your only job, to be who you already are. And this is one of those things where I don't know, I literally do not know if my saying it is enough for you to touch it. But I really hope it is, because if you touch that space, if you get a sense of who you are, even for a moment, you can do your job more and more, better and better over time. And as I say, when you are being yourself, when you show up as you, not as some idea of who you should be, not as somebody, but as you are, everything in life becomes available to you, and nothing in life can truly harm you. Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.